G'day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video I'm going to talk a little bit about Mythic Plus and just basically talk about why players should consider playing Mythic Plus as content. So basically, to cut a long story short, this video is kind of brought about because I am currently in the midst of, playing Mythic Plus during Season 2 of Dragonflight. And to cut another long story short, whilst filming, I kind of realized that Mythic Plus as a concept and, in general as a game mode, has been through its ups and downs. Mythic Plus in general as a concept, I think, is probably one of the cooler concepts that exists within the MMO space. In a very similar manner to how Greater Rifts kind of work in Diablo and how I thought those were great, what Mythic Plus does is it takes content players have done before and creates an environment in which that content is slightly different. So by adding modifiers that augment enemy health, that apply different effects to you, that can create different kind of hazards and different kinds of obstacles for players to overcome, Mythic Plus can take dungeons that you have done multiple times on various characters and change that into an environment whereby you are taking on almost entirely fresh content. Now, it comes with its own caveats. These modifiers are obviously crucial to the enjoyment of the content, but also can lead to being its greatest burden. Certain combinations of modifiers can actually make the dungeons feel more like a chore than a challenge, and can remove some of the enjoyability of the game, as obviously restrictions are, generally speaking, not something players often enjoy. Although overall, to kind of surmise or follow up, I think the concept of Mythic Plus is something truly awesome. And I think it's a game mode that I still really enjoy, as it allows me to kind of play harder end content with a bit more accessibility. So now in terms of Mythic Plus and what the point of it is, well, essentially it creates a pretty fun kind of safe environment through which players can enjoy smaller party content and obtain really good rewards. Those rewards are pretty much on par with respectable levels of raid gear. For example, doing Mythic Plus at its highest difficulty basically guarantees you to get gear that is only a few item levels lower than Mythic raiding itself, which I think is a good space for it to be in. I don't think it should offer the same level of rewards as a Mythic Plus raid, and being a couple points off is in a good space. Mythic Plus raiding is harder just naturally by default because you are organizing more players. With a Mythic dungeon, even a Mythic Plus, you are only ever organizing 5 players, whereas the concept of organizing a Mythic raid is distinctly more difficult on the surface level. So I think the rewards for Mythic Plus, at least in terms of item level, are pretty good. Now, alongside that as well, doing Mythic Plus allows you to increase your rating. And increasing your rating does a couple of things. Previously, it used to determine how much your gear would kind of be upgraded or could be upgraded via the upgrade item system. However, they've changed this since they've removed Valor with Season 2 of Dragonflight. They have kind of obviously changed the upgrade system. I think overall the changes have been pretty good, allowing you to accrue upgrade materials from various types of content, which means doing heroics can help you augment, or doing heroic raiding, for example, can help you augment Mythic Plus gear, and vice versa. And I think this is pretty good when we want to talk about content in general. I think it's really good to have this kind of cross kind of benefit from playing different types of content. And so Mythic Plus now is kind of not got that restriction that you need the rating to upgrade gear, and I think that's good. Another thing I will say, I think in terms of Mythic Plus, one thing that kind of, in terms of the rewards, does obviously hold it back a little bit, is Mythic Plus being seasonal, of course, means that the rewards are seasonal, So this creates obviously FOMO, which can tend to lead to players, feeling very pressured. And because of that, the community around Mythic Plus is in a bit of an up and down state. So let's talk about that community, and let's talk about Mythic Plus as a concept and how it works. So here's the thing with Mythic Plus. Your key will upgrade if you finish the Mythic Plus in time, which is really, really awesome. Now, if you do not finish it in time, you will, if you still finish it within, I think, 5 minutes of the end of the timer, still get an upgrade to that rating. If you do not finish it within 5 minutes of that timer, you will not get an upgrade, your key will downgrade, and that's about it. You will, however, continue to get the gear reward. So the reason why they always give you the gear reward is because they want players to always at least be rewarded for trying harder content. If I'm easily doing plus 12s and I decide to do a plus 14, and that plus 14 fails after 10 minutes beyond the timer count, they don't want me to feel like I just wasted my time. Now the big problem is people for some reason don't believe this is enough of a reward. And the moment they basically have the opportunity to fail in terms of the timer count, generally players will just leave. Players don't have a large amount of patience when it comes to Mythic Plus, and this shreds a very small community. Mythic Plus has quite a large gap between its better players and its lesser players. Doing things like Mythic Plus 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are considerably easier than doing, for example, Mythic Plus 14. This is because the scaling actually jumps quite substantially. Mythic Plus 14 units generally can have almost double the health, for example, than a Mythic Plus 12. This large gap in terms of difficulty is due to obviously a large portion of really good rewards starting at Mythic Plus 14 and 15 comparative to the other difficulties. But because of this means that a lot of players hit a natural stumbling block generated by the augmentation of the levels. So for me, this can lead to the community being a tad bit pressurized and toxic. However, overall, if you find yourself a good group, you should be fine. So I just kind of wanted to talk about Mythic Plus and why I think players should tackle it and some of the problems it faces. But overall, I think you should definitely give it a try in Season 2 of Dragonflight. I'll be posting dungeon guides on the channel soon, so I hope you enjoy. See you next time. Bye.